Hey guys, welcome to another episode in the deep playthrough of AC Unity. It's more or less the epilogue because I already finished the game and gave my thoughts on it. It's already 100% completed, like so. But I am still going, before starting with the Dead Kings DLC, I'm still scanning through the database on any articles that or entries that I may not fully remember anymore, or I'm pretty sure we didn't cover yet during the playthrough itself. So, given that the Notre Dame is now annoyingly sounding its bells anyways, let's just dive right in. It's actually pretty weird to start these episodes, like also the previous one, and only be in the menu. But yeah, that is what it is. It's a deep playthrough, so I do want to have also the written part of the games, a bit of the lore or the historical tidbits. I also would like to have that included. So here we go. Still weird that the database is all hidden down below in this menu. It is like under eStore, my brotherhood played together, all kinds of things. Well, it's really pretty integral to the game, so I really don't understand why they didn't put it at the second or maybe the third spot instead of all the way over here, but whatever. Yesterday we were going through the first big section, the people, and we were, I think, stopped at this guy. So here we go. This one I don't remember, so I will be reading it. Louis-Michel Le Peletier de Saint-Fargeau was born on May 29, 1760 in Paris. Very promising, he became councillor of the Paris Parliament. Before the Revolution, parliaments were judicial institutions and had no legislative function. In 1779, being under the age limits, he was admitted with special permission, most probably because of a Templar intercession. Among other law-related activities, he climbed... sorry, I was just doubting whether I pressed record, but I do think I did. He climbed the ladder of that institution until 1789, when he was elected to the Estates General as a representative of the nobility. Pretty soon he discarded his noble origins and supported the cause of the Third Estate. He then devoted himself to politics, even becoming for almost 2 weeks president of the National Constituent Assembly in June 1719. Being a lawyer, he took part in the writing of a draft of a criminal code, of which the most striking point is the abolition of the death penalty, but that idea is dismissed. At the convention, he nevertheless voted for the death of Louis XVI and was killed the very same evening. Alright, so he was killed. They all got killed themselves, all these extreme revolutionaries. He also worked more covertly on a draft about education, which was read by Robespierre at the convention about 6 months after Le Peletier's death. Le Peletier's remains went to the Pantheon, and his daughter was adopted by the nation as a token to his contribution to the revolution. Assassin 6, Templar 0. Yeah, I also don't... These are all, I think, assassin targets from the main campaign, but I really don't remember these. Yeah, that's probably just me, but I'm now quickly checking it up on YouTube, this one. So that is Unity Peletier assassination. I hate the word assassinations. It's way too long. Assassin's Creed Unity, Poison Wine. I remember it. It is indeed in one of the bigger buildings. I think it's maybe Palais de Tuileries. That's the one at the Place de la Concorde, Place de la Révolution, also connected to the Louvre. And I think indeed the idea was to get in and mixing it up now. Yeah, and two, he was there eating or dining, and then you had to switch something out. You had to poison his wine, and he got killed. And there's also one thing I am curious about, whether this guy actually existed. One moment. And indeed, when he died, whether that is fictional or whether he indeed died at the moment of the vote on the death sentence of Louis XVI. Peletier. He was a French politician and martyr of the French Revolution. January 20th, 1793. Alright, on January 20th, 1793, the eve of the king's execution. Yeah, so that's true. Le Peletier was assassinated in a restaurant in the Palais Royal. His murderer, Philippe Nicolas Marie de Paris, a member of the Garde du Corps, allegedly plunged a saber that he had hidden under his cloak into Le Pelletier's chest. His assassin fled to Normandy, where on the point of being discovered he supposedly shot himself in the head. Other sources claim the real murderer fled to England, where he died years later. Alright, so that is historical accurate. And King Louis, he was said then January 21 when he died. We read this one yesterday. Not really mentioned in his entry. Let's quickly check that to be thorough, in line with the playthrough. Louis 16. Yes, January 21st, 1793, Place de la Concorde, Paris, France. So that is actually in the same location where the night before we killed this Le Peletier, in that Palais de Tuileries. That is in front of the Place de la Concorde. Or I had several names. Place de la Révolution, I think, and another one. Let's quickly check that out. That was where the guillotines were, where, among other, Louis XVI was killed. Here, Place de la Révolution, Place de la Concorde, and Place Louis. I think it's 15 in French, but 15th. So, alright, brushed up on that. Where were we? Here we were. Alright, Louise-Suzanne Le Peletier, that's his daughter, I guess. After her father's assassination, Louise-Suzanne Le Peletier was officially named Daughter of the Nation by a grieving national convention. That's a hell of an adoption right there. Sorry about your dad. Anyways, literally everyone in France is your parent now. Imagine the queue of people you'd have to pick. Imagine the queue of people who'd have to pick her up at the school gates every day. Imagine all the cards she'd have to sign every bloody Mother's Day. In her later life, she was an ardent royalist and devoted considerable time and expense to recovering and destroying the famous painting of her father by the artist Jacques-Louis David. She died in 1829. Alright, I'm really quickly checking that painting. Probably that is him at the gallows, I guess. So I'm now doing Louis XVI painting, and then Jacques Louis David, and I don't really see Yeah, I only see a nice painting of Louis the 16th. I'm not sure whether that's by Jacques Louis. But he is like in his attire looking pretty sharp. Wait, but there is one title of that painting, and I'm not sure whether that is this painting the game is referencing, but it actually the title is The Execution of King Louis. Alright, I find it a bit weird that I'm looking for Jacques Louis David and I literally hardly find anything. Alright, then I do 1 second. I'm now at the Wikipedia of him. I will do find in page. That's the problem. He also has Louis in his name, so I cannot really find that much, but I will do. Yeah, Louis the 16th is nothing. The French Revolution. One moment, almost there. Almost there. Drawings by Jacques Louis David of the Tennis Court Oath. David later became a deputy in the National Convention in 1792. That's just, I cannot, yeah, sorry, it takes a bit longer, but I find it super annoying if there's like a reference here in the game. In her later life, she was an ardent royalist and devoted considerable time and expense to recovering and destroying the famous painting of her father by the artist Jacques Louis David. It's a famous painting of a super famous person. Why is that so hard to find? One moment, I'm just checking it a bit longer. I really hate stuff. That's the only problem with running through this database. I can do it quite quickly, but I'm constantly hitting little question marks like this. One moment. Alright, how do you Google this painting? I have Jacques Louis David. Alright, I will put that between quotation marks, maybe that helps. And then Louis the 16th, I will put that also between quotation marks. And then painting. No, there are only 3 paintings on him coming up. Oath of Horace, the lictors bring to Brutus the bodies of his sons, and the tennis court oath. So, list of paintings by Jacques. Alright, here we go. It is mostly yeah, old saints and historical people, Greek, etc. He made a lot of paintings. Oath of the Horatii, yeah, that is before the revolution, and I think that is related to the Roman Empire, or maybe the Italians or something. The Death of Marat, that's also from him. I wasn't aware. This is also comes up in the game. Yeah, and then we're already in 1794. He wasn't even there. Louis the 16th wasn't there anymore. So it is just really pretty annoying that they are referencing a painting which is simply unfindable. Because I was actually thinking it's probably his daughter wanted it destroyed, so it's probably that famous painting with somebody holding Louis' head up to the crowds just after he got guillotined. But yeah, it's just not here. There's maybe one that I can hear, that Oath of Horatii. No, that's 1784. Yeah, alright. I have no idea. Yeah, maybe this is fictional, I don't know, because it says that Louise-Suzanne spent time to recover and destroy the painting. So maybe it indeed was destroyed and there are no records of it anymore. Like no photographs. I mean, there was no photography around at the time, I assume. So I will do Louis painting Jacques Louis David, and then I will do Louise-Suzanne. Maybe there's an entry that indeed depicts her thing. Alright, here we go. Now lost, it showed Deputy, the last moments of Michel Le Peletier. That's a painting. I'm mixing it up. I'm an idiot myself. The painting is not of Louis the 16th. I'm such an idiot. Sorry. I will make a note in the description that this whole section can be skipped. It is about her father, of course. And that's a painting that does exist. The Last Moments of Michel Le Peletier was a 1793 painting by Jacques Louis David. Now lost, it showed Deputy Louis-Michel Le Peletier de Saint-Fargeau on his deathbed following his assassination for voting in favor of the execution of Louis XVI. It was removed in 1795 and entrusted. It was in the meeting hall of the National Convention. It was removed in 1795 and entrusted to the artist who still owned it on his death in Brussels. It was then sold by his family to the subject's daughter, Louise-Suzanne de Mortefontaine. So she has a different surname. After that sale, it disappeared, and most probably Louise destroyed it and as many engravings after it as possible in order to erase any trace of her father's part in the revolution. Ah, wow, interesting. It is only known through a drawing by Anatole Desvos and an engraving by Tardieu, which partially escaped destruction. Alright, so that's pretty interesting, that her reasoning for destroying it was not to avenge her father or anything. It was more to erase any memories of her father's political stance for her future, probably, or her family's future. Alright, so sorry, I was totally confused, and I was looking a long time for a painting that doesn't exist. Like the painting by Jacques-Louis David of Louis XVI, that doesn't exist, never existed. I had to look for the painting of the death of Le Peletier by Jacques-Louis David, which also doesn't exist, but at least it existed and it is famous for that. Sorry, that was a really long intro, and I'm going to make a note. Peletier. 15 minutes looking incorrectly in wiki. Skip. Alright, I will put that in the description of the video so that I will not waste too many people's time. Marie Antoinette, 1755-1793, was by many accounts the most hated woman in the kingdom. Pretty, frivolous, mocking, she more than made up for her matrimonial boredom with parties and lavish spending. She's rushing towards her ruin, predicted her mother, Empress Maria Theresa. In fact, it was the War of America that would ruin France's finances, not her frivolity. To be fair, it would take quite some party to ruin France's finances all on its own. That have to be a hell of a bar tab, mind you. It is France. Yeah, we already read this, but I will reread it. In the spring of 1789, she encouraged the king towards a faltering and contradictory policy, believing that only foreign intervention would be the salvation of the crown. In fact, it would be its loss. She refused the support of Lafayette and Mirabeau, pressed on with the plan for a royal escape, which resulted in the capture of the entire royal family at Varennes. On August 13, 1792, she was imprisoned in the tower of the temple with her family after the invasion of the Tuileries. On August 1, 1793, she entered the Conciergerie, another prison. She was tried by the Revolutionary Tribunal on October 14th. On October 16th, she was sentenced to death for high treason. Oh, shit. The sentence was carried out the same day. Later the same day. Alright, so that is late in 1793. They were still killing royals. But then, when did Robespierre got killed? Because he was like the tyrant at the time, and he also ended up at the scaffolds. Alright, I'm quickly checking that. How much time between Marie Antoinette and Robespierre? Summer 1794. So he only had a little bit over half a year to live himself. It really was such a mess, this period. It's crazy. Alright. Marie Levesque, this was indeed one of the assassination targets. I remember it. It was in the Palais de Luxembourg. Marie Levesque was the daughter of nobility dating back to the 13th century. By the time of the revolution, the Levesque had fallen on hard times, and in an effort to bolster the family finances, Marie married Thomas Lobby, scion of a more recently ennobled and more prosperous family in 1771. Alright, I'm making a very quick learning moment. What the hell is a scion? I think, yeah, the primary person. A young shoot or twig of a plant, especially one cut for grafting or rooting. A descendant of a notable family. 1 second. Just checking it out in my native tongue. I'm curious. Yeah. It's indeed more or less the offspring. Wealthy offspring. In 1771, Marie's father insisted that the groom take the bride's surname, and the Lobbits, eager for legitimacy, agreed. Marie was by all accounts a fierce intellect and a sharp wit, and within a few years she had rebuilt the Levesque fortune. The Levesques were staunch Templar traditionalists dating back almost to their founding, but a bit surprising to see her show up as part of this new Templar business. That's probably ironically meant. During the revolution, she definitely played both sides against each other, maintaining much of the lavish lifestyle to which she'd grown accustomed while avoiding the worst ire of the radicals. Much of her fortune was spent buying up as much grain as she could acquire and distributing it among the poor and the needy, and she gave generously towards the reformation of Paris's prisons. Ha 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 ha. Tragically, she was murdered by an unknown assailant during the celebration of the Palais Royal's conversion into a prison in late 1792. Ah, so was that the Palais Royal where it happened? I thought it was the Palais de Luxembourg. Where was this one then? No, I'm pretty sure it was in the Palais de Luxembourg. So the Palais de Luxembourg is over here, and the Palais Royal is maybe over here or something. Yes. No, I think we killed that over here. We killed the guy with the wine that we just read about earlier in this episode. Yeah, I think it was over here maybe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this guy that we poisoned his wine, and that was in the Palais Royal. Le Peletier, AC Unity. 1 second, I'm just checking it out. Here. On the night before the execution, Le Peletier was killed inside the Palais Royal by the assassin Arno. Yes. So, this entry says that this Marie Levesque was killed in the Palais Royal. Or maybe it was a celebration about the Palais Royal's conversion into a prison. Yeah, that's probably it. But not, the celebration was not in the Palais Royal. It's not necessarily the same. So let's quickly read up on Marie Levesque in the Assassin's Creed fandom. Here we go. It probably will say the location of her death. Hopefully. Yes, planning to reveal the stolen foods during a party she was holding at the Luxembourg Palace. Marie was assassinated by Arno before she could do so. Alright, so that is in line with how I remembered it. Marquis de Sade, Donatien. Yeah, we already read this one. Yeah, so I will skip it because we have enough to read already. This one I think we already read as well, but it's such an important entry, so let's read it again. Maximilien, François, Isidore de Robespierre, deprived of his father from a very early age, Robespierre was raised by oratorians. He was a hard-working... What the hell is an oratorium? This is what I mean. This makes it so annoying to read this. There's so much information that I don't know about. Then I cannot really get the context. Oratorian. A member of one of the following religious orders. Oratory of Saint Philippe. It's a... I really didn't know that. Oratory of Jesus. Oratory of the Good Shepherd, Theologisch Oratorium, Lutheran, Anglican, Roman Catholic, or another Roman Catholic one. But then, yeah, I never really... Oratory is a small chapel, a society of priests without vows, especially the Oratory of Saint Philippe Neri. Alright. Yeah. So he was probably raised in some kind of a religious order. He was a hard-working pupil with a passion for Roman history, which he would refer to almost obsessively in his later speeches. Trained as a lawyer and admitted to the Arras bar, he was destined for provincial mediocrity, just as the Depression broke out. On April 20, 1789, he was elected only 5th deputy out of 8 of the 3rd Estates of Artois to the Estates General. But he would soon conquer Paris and would only ever return to Arras on one occasion. Over 5 years, he would speak out many times to various galleries. We are being watched by all nations. We are debating in the presence of the universe. Fine for him to do. If I tried shouting that in public, they'd have me committed. Despite his harsh voice and his Artois accent, he gained increasing attention. Of his private life we know next to nothing. He lived elegantly but without overindulging himself. His was a life based on regular study and maintaining good company. He had an overzealous distrust that could be offensive to schemers and supplicants. In fact, he did not court popularity and was all the more esteemed as a result. Alright, another one I don't know about. Supplicants. One moment. A person who asks for something in a respectful way from a powerful person or god. Alright, it's like a requester or something. Petitioner. And a synonym is actually also eunuch. I don't understand that. A eunuch is somebody who is at the court, right? A man who has been castrated, especially in the past, one employed to guard the women's living areas at an oriental court. Ah, wow. It's pretty extreme, being a security guard and being castrated so you will not bother the women. Anyways, supplicants, were no match for Maximilien. Once in power, Robespierre quickly shed his moderate image, favoring extremism and terror as tools for rulership. After a reign that culminated in the festival of the Supreme Being and the Terror, Robespierre, that's pretty cool. We actually killed him, I think, at some kind of festival, I think of the Supreme Being. Robespierre lost the support of the... Oh, we didn't kill him, but we framed him, so to say. In one of the in the last memory, I think it was 12.3, last episode of the main story. That was over there. So it's really nice that they put like these missions in historical relevant locations. Anyways, after a reign that culminated in the festival of the Supreme Being and the Terror, Robespierre lost the support of the Committee for Public Safety. His former allies turned on him and he was deposed and executed. Alright, we have a couple more to do. Let's do those in the next episode. I really have to take a really short break. So I will immediately continue in the next episode. Guys, hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you there. For the meantime, do not forget, always do keep on gaming. See you later.